Hi, I'm Daryl, and today I'm going to drive through Transmission Gully. I'm just going to get on with it. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just doing a voiceover because the audio I recorded in the car is junk. Um, anyway, so just drove past the sign that had the Transmission Gully is open kind of deal. Uh, I'm driving north to south, and so I'm starting at the Paraparamu Kapiti Road on ramp, and I don't know. I don't know if you need a voiceover. Maybe you don't need a voiceover for this. I'm just going to talk to myself while you can watch the video. Now, you're probably going to want to fast forward through this bit because I don't actually get up to the start of the transmission gully for the first 5 minutes because I'm just driving on the Kapiti Expressway. I just decided to record the whole thing and just put it in so you can see what the actual whole drive is like. Now, the truck was going a bit slow, so I decided to go around it. I didn't drive really fast. I drove at about 90 kilometers per hour most of the time. Because my car, when it says 90 kilometers per hour, it's actually only going. No, hang on, run the other way. When you're driving 90 kilometers per hour in real life, it says 100 on the dash. When you're driving 100 on the dash, you're only going 90 kilometers per hour because it's just the kind of car I have. I have a Nissan Leaf. It's an electric car. It's one of the good things about these new roads. Like, so this expressway, it's got this super smooth asphalt, and it's actually very efficient to drive electric cars on these nice motorways. But if you're just going to talk about efficiency of cars, the faster you go, the less efficient your car is. All the trucks are only allowed to drive at 90 kilometers per hour in real life because basically all the trucks are towing trailers, and that's sort of how the rule goes. Every time you pass a big truck on the highway, they're actually only technically allowed to drive 90 kilometers per hour in New Zealand. Now, the other thing you need to know if you're from up north, it's a 100 kilometre per hour speed limit on all the roads in Wellington. There are no 110 kilometre per hour roads. What does that mean if you're from overseas and you like miles? 55 miles per hour. That's what that means. It's actually 57 or 58, but that's what the speed limit is. Up in Hamilton, there's a big expressway which is just on flat ground. Mostly it's pretty flat. There is a cutting over a hill and stuff like that. And I think that's all 110. But in Wellington, it's all 100 kilometres per hour. You need to watch the speed limits on this road. I saw motorbike cops. I saw mufti cops, police cars that don't look like police cars. Just, I saw a big white SUV which had flashing police lights in it, but it wasn't a marked car at all. I didn't see any fixed speed cameras, but one thing you need to know about the new motorway is it has radar on its entire length. All of the positions of all of the cars and all of the speeds of all of the cars are known to the road management system. The road management system can see you if you are speeding. The radars are literally covering everything. All of the on ramps, all of the off ramps, the interchanges, and all of the length of the new motorway has radars all along. Just so you know, you if you're speeding and there's cops in the area, they can see that you're speeding, and the people in the highway control centre can probably see that. What I didn't notice cameras along the highway. So quite a lot of the motorways near big cities in New Zealand have cameras up on high towers, and they have amazing telescopic zoom lenses on the cameras. I've heard people say that they can read your registration certificate that's in the front window screen of your car. If you park at the side of the road, they can read that. That's how much they can zoom in. Now, for privacy reasons, I've heard it said. So there's a lot of speculation in the things I'm saying, okay? So this is just what I've heard, and you can take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, there's a thing that says that this is what's this called? This is called, there's a park here. This is called Mackay's Crossing. The Mackay's Crossing interchange allows you to go to two parks. One's on the beach side, so there's a beach park where you can go for a family picnic, you can go swimming, you can go biking down there. And on the left-hand side here where the soft ramp is, there's a farm park where you can go mountain biking or hiking up in the mountains you can see those mountains there. There's a farm park there. See those buildings just on the left there? That's the car park and information centre for the farm park. If you go off that off ramp and under the road, you can go to Queen Elizabeth Park, which is where there's a tramway. If you want to ride an electric tram in the weekends, like an old historical tramway, you can ride them. It's the kinds of trams that they used to have in Wellington City before they foolishly tore up all the tram lanes and replaced them with electric buses, and then they foolishly removed all the electric buses and replaced them with diesel buses, and then they bought a couple of battery powered electric buses. Anyway, that's buses. Now, this is where the the new motorway starts. So I'm currently on the Kapiti Expressway, and now this is where the new motorway starts. Now there's an off-ramp here if you're going to Pauatahanui, which is a nice little village by the seaside, which is now a nice quiet little village because a lot of the traffic's bypassing it. There's the off-ramp there. If you take that off-ramp, you can go to Pauatahanui. There's some cafes and a bar and a movie theatre down there and a pub and stuff, right? Go down there and have lunch. It's nice. If you've got an electric car, there's a DC electric car charger down there by the beach. You can charge your car, go to the shops, get a coffee. Right, now we're on the new motorway. Look, it looks like a motorway. It's a motorway. It's got an 8% grade coming up here. It gets quite steep. Now, on the right-hand side, there's actually just coming up, there's a gravel drag, like a sand drag, like they have on a Formula One, on the side of a racing car track, where if you drive your car off the track, you drive into the gravel. And that's on the right hand side for the people coming downhill. This is quite steep now. So the road's split into 3 lanes at this point. You've got your slow vehicle lane for your trucks and people who just want to drive slowly and efficiently. Like if you're just trying to get the most mileage out of your petrol or out of your electric car or whatever, then you can be driving in that slow lane with those trucks there. That makes a lot of sense. All of this highway, where the road is steep, there's 3 lanes going uphill, which is good. And the 3-lane bit goes all the way up and over the crest of the hill so that the trucks can pick up speed before they merge back into the faster lane traffic. So if you're from the Northern Hemisphere, we're a country where we drive on the left-hand side of the road, so the left lane's the slow lane and the right lane's the fast lane. So I'm getting passed by the trucks and vehicles. The people that are driving 100 kilometers per hour are passing me on one side, and I'm driving 90 kilometers per hour in the middle lane, and the slower traffic can be driving in that truck lane there. There's a lot of kind of like pullover areas at the side of the road. Like if your car breaks down or something, there's lots of places. There are some places like here you can't pull off the road because this is a cutting, and the cutting is 75 meters deep, and it doesn't look very steep in these images, but it is actually really steep. And so this has all been strengthened to avoid slips. And you don't want to park your car at the side of the road where there would be slips, so they've got that concrete barrier at the side of the road to stop gravel and stuff that might fall down the bank from going onto the road. This is a stock truck here. It looks like it can carry sheep or cattle or something. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it can configure both, depending on how it's configured. It looks like it's quite high at the bottom. It looks like it's big enough to fit cattle. Anyway, there's the stuff. Everything on the left-hand side of the road here is basically, it's really a forest park. A reserve kind of park, not a national park, but it's a forested area that's mostly got native trees. it's in recovery, I guess. See that pod thing there that I just passed? Those white things on poles. They're the roadside radars, and so you can see them all the way along. They're like a white. There's a white plastic. It's a white plastic dome about 30 centimeters or a foot high. See, here's one coming up here. See this thing? And it's beaming out multi-channel radar. Like it can see all the vehicles in all the lanes. So they have like a running traffic model which shows the speed of the cars. So it measures all the speed of all the cars in all the lanes. And see, here's another one. So there's just plenty of them. So I'm going at 100 kilometers per hour because I'm on the downhill here. I'm going 100 or maybe 90 kilometers per hour. Those dashes that are dividing the lane are really long. They're 4 or 5 meters long, with the gaps of 4 or 5 meters. So each dash is about. There's a motorbike cop. So got motorbike police out on the road. See, there's all these sightings. So there's a bridge there. But if your car broke down, there's places where you can pull over at the side of the road. Now, apparently, they were going to install cell sites through all of this, but it didn't get done. It's not done yet. So they're saying that the phone reception's actually really rubbish along this road, which is kind of a bummer. But don't worry about the phone reception. There's fibre optic cables along the whole length of the road, and all of those radars are connected on the fibre optic cables. And if your car breaks down and you stop, just wait in your car, and the happy traffic control people will come. So if you sit in your car at the side of the road, remember this is a motorway, and you're not allowed to stop and park on the side of a motorway in New Zealand. So this is a no stopping road. You're not allowed to stop anywhere through here at all. So if you stop and sit in your car, if your car's broken down or you have a medical problem, whatever, and you can't drive, then just sit and wait in your car, and somebody from the traffic control centre will come. They might take half an hour. I don't know how long it will take, because whatever it is, the next police officer who's going to be driving down the road will stop and see why you're not driving. And maybe you got a flat tire, right? You get a flat tire and you just sit in your car. Somebody will come. Don't worry about it, because you don't necessarily want to be pulled over on the side. You don't want to be changing a flat tire. Because see how there's this fence, so the whole road's fenced. You can't drive off the road, so it might not be safe for you to stop and change your tire. Now, if you watch, there are lots of places where there are safe places. So what you do is you drive until you pass one of these bays, and then you reverse backwards into the bay. Where have we got? Have we got one coming up? We'll just have a look. I'll point one out if we see one. I'm not quite sure, but just back there, was there a little turn-off bay where you could exit off the side of the road? I noticed there's some roads and stuff. So there's local roads because there's people's farms or government-owned farms or forest park or whatever's up there, and so there's places where you might better not normal people, but the workers that might be able to get some access around the road. Of course I'm not seeing a place where you can pull over and park your car. I mean, you can pull over there. So there's one just there. There's a bay there. So those are the bays where if you ever stop and change your tire or something, that's one of those bays you can pull into. So you drive just past the bay and then you reverse backwards into the bay, and that way. There's the crash protection fence, so there's a bay there as well. So you've got a crash protection fence. So while you're changing your tire, you're not going to get run into. But yes, as I was saying, because this whole road is monitored with these radar things, if you stop at the side of the road, people will come. There's a traffic control centre. The traffic control centre is down in Tawa. I've been to the traffic control centre a couple of times and had people talk me through it. I haven't been to the traffic control centre for 5 or 6 years, but the last time I went there, they gave me an explanation of how all that works. I was doing some work and had to get some. It was on one of the motorway flyover bridges. I was just doing some work for the work that I do, and so we called in at the traffic control centre, and the people that work there explained to me how the whole thing works. And I talked to some people that were working with the people that put the radars in, so that was something. What do we got? We got a sign here. I guess this is the Pauatahanui and Hutt Valley. So if you're going to Lower Hutt or Upper Hutt, this is where in the left lane you'll take this left exit, and you'll exit out and go to the left, which is easterly, and you'll get to the Hutt Valley. So there's another place you can pull over and park out of the flow of traffic. There's not too many of them. They're actually designed for the road workers that work on the signs and cameras and things that are on the road, for them to have safe parking places. But just this is one of these things. Now that there's quite a lot of these good motorways in New Zealand, you need to be aware how the structure of the motorway works, and when you understand, you can see how there's places that are safe places to pull over if you've got a problem with your car or some medical problem or whatever, and you need to stop. There's some control equipment there, but there's another place that was a good place to pull over and stop. I mean, of course, the side on the edge of the road. So here's the off ramp. So if you take that off ramp, you can go to Tawa, Pauatahanui, and Lower Hutt and Upper Hutt. And that's that off ramp here. And this goes over a bridge. So on the right side of the road there, that's where Whitby is and Porirua. So you'd go under this bridge here to get to Whitby and Porirua. So this road here is a on ramp joining the new highway there. This has got to be some of the driest commentary in the history of the world, but I'm just explaining the stuff as I see it. So here there's see these information sites. See the electronic information sites. If you go to the NZTA website and look for the road conditions, the information, the text that's on those signs are on little pop-up pin bits of information. See the slow lane here? This is real steep. This is 8% grade. It's not super steep. It's a fine enough speed that you can drive in a normal modern car. You can drive through this at 100 kilometers per hour. You don't have to slow down at all. But for if you're a truck and you're just joining the motorway, then it's very hard to get straight on a motorway on ramp and pick up speed when you're going up an 8% grade hill. So there's lighting through here. So not all the intersections have not all the road has lighting, but it looks like the intersections have lighting. So this is the Waitangirua and Whitby. So this is the back of East Porirua off ramp. If you're going to Aotea, or Waitangirua or Whitby, the back of Whitby or the hills at the top of Whitby. I don't know how to describe that. You take that off ramp there and then go under the motorway, and you'll get to two. There's two roads. One connects to Whitby, and the other one connects to Waitangirua. I noticed here that this chip seal here is not very good. This is what they were talking about. They didn't want to open the road because some of these quality things, this chip seal didn't adhere properly, and it's a little bit. It's not patchy. It's just not great. So that might be something that they fix. The other thing, when they were building this road, like when they build all roads in New Zealand, extreme care is taken to make sure that there's not runoff into the waterways. So all of the creeks and rivers and streams that this road goes over, all the water, there'll be settling ponds and things like that, little streams that the water will run down to, but stuff to stop to prevent damage to the ecosystem, because New Zealand's kind of quite rare. We have a lot of rare animals, and so there's things like freshwater shellfish that I think might live in some of the streams in these valleys, and they had to be really careful not to disrupt that because they don't really live anywhere else. There's quite a lot of unique wildlife. There's even, like, I've worked with, well, I've spoken to scientists, so I've been on work trips with scientists, and I've asked them about sort of the biology of New Zealand stuff, and there's just things you can discover new species all the time. There was one example. There was a guy who said, like, oh yeah, you could probably find 5 new species in a lunch break if you knew where to look. And there was some place where the scientist, he thought that there was oh yeah, so here's the transmission power line. So this road's called Transmission Gully. So there's a high tension power line there. Those are the what are those power lines? They're the ones that run up the North Island. So if you go up to Auckland and you're driving through the middle of the North Island and you see big power lines going north-south, that's those. So there's one on the other side there, big power lines as well. Here's a big truck. Is there another off-ramp coming up here? Oh no, this is the big bridge. So this is the big bridge. It's about 65 metres high, this bridge. I've made other videos. I've made a lot of videos about roads. So just on the left here, there's a place where the old road comes to, and you could take photos. So I took photos and some videos from up on the bank here. There's sort of maybe where that fence was, or somewhere along here. There's some place where you could take photos, and so I did take some photos up there in other videos. So now we're coming downhill. Oh yeah, just a point. So the peak of the road and the big cutting quite near the start of the video, that was at something like 270 metres altitude. At the moment we're at about 160 metres altitude. So here's some information signs. So there's these electronic signs. I think it said no stopping. I guess they've got a problem with, because the road's new, there's a lot of people sightseeing, so they're probably out and want to take some photos. That's why my videos are just totally a drive-through here. So we're coming up to the Porirua interchange. Now the Porirua interchange, you can drive down to, you can stay on the highway and drive to Tawa and then down to Wellington City, or you can get off the highway here and go to Porirua. It comes out at Kenepuru Hospital. Kenepuru is the area between Tawa and Porirua. But these intersections have roundabouts. So you get off the expressway here, and you'll go down, and so if you take the exit right there, you can go down around a roundabout and off and under the road and end up on the Porirua side. Porirua is on the right hand side, and nothing's on the left hand side. On the left hand side, there's just it's too hilly for anything to be there. Looks like there's some farm or something there, and so pretty soon we'll be merged with the Tawa, with the State Highway 1, as everybody already knows it. So coming down off, so this coming into the merge now. So I think, how was that? How did that work? I can't really remember. There was something just there. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So here we go. Here's the traffic coming down the old State Highway 1, and the two roads merge together. Now this merge seems really short. This kind of surprised me, because it just went from 2 lanes merging in on each side down to 3 lanes straight away, and then this lane ends and it merges down to 2 lanes. But I guess if the traffic's flowing well, it's not going to be a problem. In the morning, I'm not sure what traffic's like in the city these days. I haven't driven down to the city in a long time, but I understand that, like, a lot of people are working from home still, because, you know what, people just worked out that they didn't need to go to work and work in an office building. They worked out that a lot of people, and it's not everybody, 20 or 30% of people or something, it seems like they worked out how to work from home, and they just don't need to go to the office every day, and so most days they don't. And so I think that actually makes the traffic better. It's just something that happened. So now I'm just on the old State Highway 1, and this is boring now, so you've seen it all. I'm going to go to Tawa, and then I'm going to park the car at the supermarket, and then I'm going to turn the camera off. That's what's going to happen. So if you want to just keep watching, maybe that will happen, or maybe I'll get bored and I'll cut it off. Say that stock truck again. I think that's that stock truck. That's right, yeah. So why is the stock truck going down here? It's probably going down to the ferry to go to the South Island. That happens quite a lot. Because there's not much more land. We're at Wellington, and Wellington's kind of the end of the road. Although you could go down, there are some farms on the other side. If you go to Karori and then go out east of Karori, there's actually farms out there as well. They're kind of near the beach. I guess the area is called Macra. Anyway, hope that's been an interesting watch. If you managed to sit through this much video, you must really like roads. I mean, I enjoy making it. I'm always excited about infrastructure projects and things that are happening. You know, people do stuff, right? I like it that people do stuff and we get new things. It takes a lot of effort to build these projects. You know, it was delayed for a great many reasons, including, you know, terrible weather and a pandemic and all of the other stuff. So, you know, that's just how that's been. And now you slow down, and I hate this intersection. It's really freaky because you actually have the right of way to drive straight through, but all those other cars have to give way, and the give way pattern is something unusual. You've got to be careful when you're driving on that off ramp right there. Sometimes it's actually possible for people to not understand that they have to wait for you to go through. And then so that's going under the thing, and now I'm going to drive up to the supermarket. Around the roundabout. Those people have just come from Wellington City, and I'm going to go around here. And this really is the end of the video. When I get up to the car park, there's not much more. I'm going to the supermarket here. So I didn't know where to stop the car. I needed to stop the car and work out what I was going to do next. Oh yeah, this is skinny. Those vehicles, that's not a good parking space. Like, that's quite skinny, so I drove real slow. Yeah, on the left hand side this is the supermarket car park. It's got quite a good interesting view, the supermarket car park. There you go, see, supermarket. It's called Countdown. It's a Woolworths brand company. And there's those transmissions. See those transmission power lines? That's the transmission power lines that go through Transmission Gully. I think that's right. Oh, hang on though. Those might be the DC power lines that come from the South Island. I don't know. I have to think about that. Anyway, that's it. That's the video. Thanks for watching.